Guys, let's talk about the champion Stephon Castle. We're going to have a short little conversation about this guard coming out of UConn.
I want some nasty. Are we having fun yet?
All right, so as we do with all of these draft picks, or the ones that we actually want to go over, we're going to start off with some of their stats just this last season. You know, very basic, surface level stuff. I'll tell you just my overall thoughts about the pros and cons of that player, and then we'll see what other people think. One in particular, one site I love going to is NBA Scouting Live, and they usually have some pretty good pros and cons. And let's see how spot on I am with my thoughts about this player in particular. All right, so starting off, Stephon Castle. If you have not heard of him, please go look up some highlights, go look up some full games, go look up some breakdowns. All right, don't let me just be the only source of any type of opinion when it comes to a player. Get yourself a good dose of overall insight about him. But just starting off, so he is 6'6". He has a 6'9" wingspan, and he is a combo guard. Some people have said, oh, he's more of a point guard. Some people say he's close to a shooting guard. I would just go ahead and just say, hey, he's more of a combo guard, right? So before getting into what I think he does well as a player, if we're just looking at the stats here, he averages 11.11 points, 1.5 turnovers, and with the ball in his hands, quite often, pretty impressive. Some of those turnovers are pretty whack, but pretty impressive there. 2.4 of fouling, 0.8 steals, and we'll actually get into the fouls in a minute. 0.5 blocks per game, 2.9 assists, so nearly 3 assists. We can just kind of sum that up to that. 4.7 rebounds per game, so utilizing his size pretty well. And then as we can see here, 75.5 free throw percentage, 26.7% three-point percentage, and an overall 47.2 field goal percentage on 27 minutes per game. So how do I feel about Stephon Castle? Well, let me go ahead and give you at least my pros, right? I think that he utilizes his size very well. I mean, very well. That's 6'6", 200. Wait, how many? What was his weight again? Hold on. Let me make sure I got it down. Yeah, 215 pounds. That frame that he has, he is really good at utilizing it. Pretty doggone athletic. And just starting with the offensive end, I think that he's really good at creation in the paint. Now, while his three-point shooting is a little underwhelming, he definitely knows how to get to the rim. He has a lot of creativity, very savvy, and those are my type of players, right? Like, I love players that are very savvy, crafty. Obviously, Derek White being one of my favorite players to ever step into a San Antonio Spurs uniform. I'm just a sucker for guys like that, and I always have a bias towards guys like that that just knows how to get to their spots. So he can go right into your chest, or he can avoid the contact altogether and finish around the rim. So he's pretty good at that nonetheless. He's not afraid to go at you if he has to, right? As far as passing ability, he's a pretty decent passer. I would say above average as far as combo guards go. He's not someone that's going to like just break you down like my boy Cadeau, right? I love me some Cadeau out of UNC, but he's not that type of guard, so that's something that he could definitely work on. But skip passing, basic passes, he can make them, and those first reads, he'll catch those, but he can also catch the second reads as well. So he's pretty good at that. I would say slightly above average when it comes to passing ability. So offensively, that's all I can really take from him. Now, if there's more that people in the comments want to say that you really like offensively from Stephon Castle, please let me know. I'll read it. I love looking in to other people's thoughts when it comes to these draft picks, but overall, that's all I can really gather from it. It seems like a lot of things offensively he's good at, but he's not necessarily elite at anything yet. But like I said, the promising thing is the fact that he utilizes his size to that capacity. Now, going to the defensive end, I think defensively he's kind of nasty. Okay, when I say that he utilizes his size and he utilizes that wingspan, this is what I mean. Defensively, he is he's a dog. Okay, he is an absolute dog. On ball defense, he's phenomenal at communicating with his teammates. He's always taken on the best possible player that he can take on. He is a point of attack defender. If that's what you're looking for defensively, he is a dog. He is there. He is locked in. So while I don't think that there's anything on the offensive end that makes him elite, or there's one specific thing that he does that's like really great, if we talk about him as an overall player, I would categorize his defense as elite. I think he's an elite defender, really good defender, probably the best defensive guard in this upcoming draft. He is absolutely nasty when it pertains to defense. So that's a really good positive there. So it's one of those things where the effort is definitely there. And like I said, with his IQ, it doesn't just lean over on the offensive end. It also bleeds into the defensive end. Now, just talking about the obvious con, okay, there's one that just stands out, right? It's so obvious. And it's just going back to the 3-point shooting. He attempts about two a game, but that is a terrible 3-point percentage. Now, on the positive end of it, in high school, he did shoot better, but unfortunately, in college, it was pretty poor. And there were many a times, at least from what I've noticed, what I've seen, is that he will just straight up not take it no matter how open it is. Guys will continuously go under screens, not necessarily seeing him as a threat. They will sag off of him tremendously. But I guess one thing that is positive is he is willing to go into your chest even if you sag off of him. That's how much confidence he has as far as trying to create for himself to get into the paint. But when it comes to shooting, he'll take the shot if he absolutely has to. And also, if it is a catch and shoot situation and he is wide open, he's not afraid to shoot. So this is not one of those situations. So this is not something to really worry about. Okay. This is not one of the situations like with the Thompson twins where you look at their jump shot and it's obviously broken and it's going to take a lot of development in the NBA to correct it. That's not the case with Stephon Castle. At least from what I've seen, his shooting stroke is pretty decent. And like I said, about the free throw percentage, you always want to kind of look at that. It's at least a 76, about 76% free throw percentage. So that's not bad, right? That's not terrible by any stretch of the imagination. So he does have a good shooting stroke, and it would just be a matter of the right coaches and the right guys getting that out of him and tweaking it a little bit to bring him back to his high school days, where he can shoot. So I'm not necessarily that worried about it. The only thing that does worry me is the fact that offensively, there really isn't anything I can grab and just say, oh yeah, like this is what he's going to do to you. Like you can't really tell. Just fortunately for him, he has the size, he has the quickness, he has the strength, he has the basketball IQ, and defensively, he can lean on that quite a bit. And I think that, it'll come together. It's just a matter of all of the different things that he does well, or the way that he's able to utilize his size. He can come into his own there. He kind of reminds me of Usar Thompson in a way, just not shooting wise or anything like that. Just overall, how I always thought Usar did a really good job of. Is it Usar or Usar? Guys, let me know. Okay, I always say names wrong. I think it's Usar though. I think, but he kind of reminds me of that Thompson twin, in which he was really good at utilizing all the different things that was given to him, right? Like the size and the strength and the wingspan and everything. Like he's really great at utilizing that, and it came together pretty sweet. And I think it's been coming together pretty sweet in the NBA. So he kind of reminds me of him, in to a degree. I've seen some people compare Stephon Castle to Jimmy Butler. I don't really get that. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe it's the defense that people are kind of seeing. But other than that, I don't really see too much of a similarity. But overall, that's how I view him, right? I just see him as a guy that's really good at a lot of things, just not great at anything but defense. I think defense is what he can really lean on And he can lock you down. I mean, he can seriously lock you down. He is keyed in there. And with him having a high basketball IQ, I think a lot of other things will come into play in the NBA. So with that being said, let's take a look at NBA Scouting Live. So I have not looked at this. I always just bring up the website, and then I just always think it's good to kind of scroll through and see what they think. So right now they got on prospect rank 9. I'm pretty sure it'll be higher than that. I think last mock draft I saw he was around 6. But pros, solid scorer off the dribble. Okay, that's something I didn't really mention. So yeah, excels at scoring on off-ball motion plays. Yeah, can post up smaller players. Yeah, like I say, utilize his strength really well. Solid playmaker. Solid is a good word, okay? Solid. He is a solid playmaker. Decent rebounder for his size. Oh, yeah, we mentioned that with the 4.7 rebounds. You know, that's him utilizing that size. Solid defender. I would say elite defender, but that's just me. Very good athlete. Yeah. Cons. Needs to improve his shooting, obviously. Reluctant to take outside shots. Yeah. When they're sagging off of him, he still won't take it. But he's also contributing for his teammates around, distributing the ball to his teammates quite often. That's been his priority, I think, offensively anyways. Can struggle to score in traffic. Yeah, sure. I suppose. It gets to a point though. I think the reason why he struggles to score in traffic at times is because it becomes a little predictable, right? Like when they know you're not going to shoot and you're going to try to get to the paint, it becomes a little more difficult. I think that if he at least had, because he has the quickness, right? He has the quickness, he has the strength. I think if he just improved his shooting and force people to come up on him, it'll be much more beneficial, and maybe he won't have to force, those shots. Can display spotty shot selection, can be careless on offense, which can lead to turnovers. I suppose, me personally, I just don't think 1.5 on 27 minutes. Yeah, 27 minutes, 1.5 turnovers. I just don't think that's that bad, but okay. Stephon Castle is an athletic swingman that will play at UConn for the... Oh, this was before. He is a high motor player that passes and defends well. Okay, well, that's interesting. So I just gave you my overall thoughts about him pre this season, and they gave it, or post this season, and they gave a pre this season. That's weird. Usually this is updated. When's the last time this was updated? This was updated. Okay, I don't know. That will play for... That is weird. I don't know what happened there. Anyways, he's a high motor player that passes and defends well, especially at the collegiate level. Okay. He will really need to improve his jump shot, but his athleticism and perceived upside could enable him to be a first-round pick in the 24 draft. Maybe they just didn't update this sentence. Maybe that's what it was. So I think the perspective is the same where we're coming from. So yeah. So overall, I do like Stephon Castle a lot. Like I said, I have a huge bias towards guys like this, guys that play great defense, really crafty. I just hope once he gets to the NBA that he can become elite at something. But right now, if everything were to come together, he could be an absolute monster. I mean, he could be really, really good. When we talk about project players, this is the type of guy you will want. And, looking at the draft, if we just say... Okay, actually, I did have the mock draft up. So looking at the draft, more than likely past the fourth spot, he might be the best point guard available, at least passer available. I personally think he's a better passer than Rob Dillingham. So yeah, he could potentially be the best passer available after that point. Nikola Topic is a better passer than Stephon Castle, in my opinion. But anyways, all right, I'll give it to you guys later, man. Until next time, bye.